Tonight, we're gonna bring it back to where it all began.
One of my favorite things about what I get to do is check out all kinds of different movies, and I mix it up with the movies and the video games and stuff that I get to review. You know what I do, but I like being surprised, and if you put a movie together and you're going to put Natalie Portman and Jude Law in the picture, you got my attention. I'm going to go out and check this out. Vox Lux got me out of my game room and into the theater to go and check it out. It's about a pop singer named Celeste, who is played by Natalie Portman, but only for half of the film. The first half of the film is her rise, and Celeste is played by a younger actor named Raffi Cassidy, and she's terrific. And what we see for the beginning part of the movie is a pop star that is born out of tragedy. There's a horrific school shooting that happens in the opening parts of the movie that comes out of nowhere. It's all sort of, it's very hacked together opening sequence that's sort of off kilter, makes you feel uncomfortable to begin with, and then this violence erupts, and somehow magically Celeste survives and in the hospital kind of finds her voice. And what happens is that Celeste has an opportunity to express herself, and she chooses to do this through song, and propels her into superstardom.
And I will say nothing and listen to your love.
And so we see the rise of this young girl. She's only in her teens. She's about 14 years old at the beginning of the movie. We see her sort of claim her stardom and travel around the world and start shooting some videos and stuff. And it's all very interesting and intriguing. And then we get into Act 2, which is about an hour into the film, and that's when Natalie Portman makes her appearance. And I was a bit concerned at that part of the film.
I'm scared.
Because Natalie Portman has just this word salad to kind of introduce her character with, this sort of older, wizened Celeste who has gone through the ringer, done it all, performed everywhere, made all kinds of money. She's employing everybody. She just looks haggard, and she's drinking during the day out of paper cups. And we've seen this many times in movies, the road to stardom picture where, everybody starts abusing drugs and just becomes a complete mess. And it looks like we're seeing a copycat sort of variation on that, and Natalie Portman's sort of getting a chance to overact, but she's hampered by a script that's just too filled with dialogue, and she's got too many lines to say. It's almost like the lines of dialogue that she's got to say are like ripped right out of an Us magazine or something like that. She's just talking about her life and crying out of nowhere and yelling at restaurant managers.
Mom, I'm worried about you.
You're worried about me.
And it just seems so hammy and so forced and so unemotional. Just it became sort of like she was doing a note-by-note dictation of what her life story was. And I was taken out of the picture, and I was feeling bad because the buildup had been huge. We were finally going to have the Natalie Portman moment. And then again, a horrific, violent act kind of, rises up to kind of tell the tale of this quest for stardom. So there's an interesting sort of correlation there, and an interesting, I don't know if it's a message, but, it's an interesting observation there in the picture. But in the midst of all of that, we get to see Natalie Portman's character really devolve and really go through some heavy stuff. She's butted up against a terrific Jude Law, who from square one in the picture, he just plays an unnamed character, the manager, and he's just having so much fun in this movie. He really is enjoying the script that he is served and the character that he gets to portray. Just this, from the streets, smart dude that knows how to manage people and sort of navigate through the pitfalls of trying to help this girl become a superstar.
You're just dancing in your bedroom, and no one's looking at you, and you ain't got a care in the world, okay?
And then everybody's over it by the end,
Celeste, come on. Everybody's downstairs.
But what became interesting is to see Natalie Portman's character just sort of break down in front of us. She has a nervous breakdown, and wow, that was incredible work for us to witness that, to see Natalie Portman go through this super emotional mess and then kind of transform again out of that, and it was impressive.
That's what this show is about. It's about rebirth.
I definitely have to commend all the players here, man. Brady Corbett, who is the writer-director here, who I'm not familiar with, has done a pretty cool job. Definitely frames all of this almost with a 70s aesthetic. There's a lot of interesting pans and cuts, and the color is drained out of a lot of shots. And at the end, there's actually a huge performance moment in there, too. And it feels like the movie saved all of its budget for this huge, massive Lady Gaga-sized performance, which was impressive. And we get to see Natalie Portman sort of bring it to the stage, which was cool as well.
So teach me.
This pop diva thing is not necessarily a thing that I inhabit or a world that I inhabit and chase after in my day-to-day. But as a film goer, and especially in the afterwake of a film like A Star is Born, which also examined this sort of pop diva kind of world a little bit with Lady Gaga, this is also an interesting bookend, you know? This isn't quite the satisfying kind of meaty morsel that A Star is Born is, but it's a pretty solid escape, and it's an interesting escape, and it's done artfully.
He wanted a show. I gave him a show.
This was solid. It was definitely a cool escape from this kind of frigid, frosty reality that we're in here in Vancouver, and it was a trip into a world that I'm usually never in. I'm going to give Vox Lux a 7.5 out of 10.